but everyone will see how far you went. Don't waste your life fearing falls, because each stumble holds an opportunity. Those falls become the stepping stones that build the path toward you. With each step after rising, you'll gain clarity and confidence in yourself. So, tell me, share it with me in the comments and stay just a bit longer. What's coming next will show you the fun life well lived, filled with meaning and value. Lesson 19. Stop comparing yourself.
Personal Journey Overcoming Anxiety. Anxiety weighing heavy? Lighten the load with our support. This course set me on the path to success. Don't wait. Begin your journey today.
Come to me and rest in my loving presence. You know that this day will bring difficulties, and you are trying to think your way through those trials. As you anticipate what is ahead of you, you forget that I am with you now and always. Rehearsing your troubles results in experiencing them many times, whereas you are meant to go through them only once, when they actually occur. Do not multiply your suffering in this way. Instead, come to me and relax in my presence. I will strengthen you and prepare you for this day, transforming your fear into confident trust. This was inspired by the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28 through 30, and Joshua, chapter 1, verse 5 through 9.
Comparisons. Another, you think, if there were a counter for how many times we've looked at others to measure what we lack, it would probably show an absurdly high number. This constant comparison is like carrying a backpack full of stones that don't belong to you, yet you still choose to carry them. The problem isn't in admiring others, it's in thinking you can fill your own gaps by trying to be like them. And I don't blame you. It's almost inevitable when we're surrounded by displays of the perfect life, the perfect car, perfect house. You know what I mean. Social media feels like a malicious platform designed to make you feel less than. Up to you where you choose to focus. Picture you're rowing down a river. You've got your own raft and your own paddle, but instead of rowing, you spend your time looking at the books to you. That is bigger. It doesn't even have paddles, it's got motors, it almost steers itself. And what do you tell yourself? You don't say, wow, as a rower despite having less. Be honest, that's not what you'd think, is it? It's probably more like, why don't I have that big boat? I always have to work twice as hard to get half as much. See the problem? This isn't just a metaphor, it's the endless scroll on social media. The conversations with your partner about the neighbor's new car. Enough already. While you're stuck in those thoughts, your raft is drifting, stagnant. What good is having your own paddle if you don't use it? Marcus Aurelius wrote centuries ago, stop arguing about what a good should be. Be one. It's not about what others are doing. It's about what you choose to do with your time and your energy.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Like your achievements aren't enough because you compared them to someone else's? Maybe a friend bought a bigger house, a coworker got a promotion, or someone on social media seems to be living a flawless life. But let me tell you something. What you see from others is just a small part, a facade. You can't measure your life with a ruler that doesn't belong to you. Think of it this way. Comparing yourself to others is like trying to use someone else's compass to find your way. It doesn't work. Only you know where you want to go and what you need to get there. The right compass isn't out there, it's within you. But how do you stop comparing yourself in a world filled with marketing, filters, and aesthetics? Start by taking inventory of your achievements. Recognize what you've accomplished, no matter how small it may seem. Those steps are yours, and no one can take them away from you. Create your own goals. Define what truly matters to you. Others say should matter. And my friend, practice gratitude. Instead of focusing appreciate what you do have. Gratitude will shift your perspective. The Stoics taught us that true success isn't about surpassing the person you were yesterday. That's the only comparison that makes sense. Let me leave you with one last question. What could you achieve if you stopped wasting your life looking sideways and focused only on your own path? The answer isn't in what others are doing, it's in what you decide to do from them. So drop that pack full of stones that don't belong to you and start rowing with strength. Because here's a secret, my friend, your life doesn't need to be better than anyone else's. It needs to be authentic. And a lesson 20. Decide without fear. Phew. Just thinking about it, you already feel that knot in your stomach, don't you? You know what I'm talking about. That feeling that paralyzes you, holds you back, and keeps you from moving forward. You find yourself stuck, not because you don't want to take the step, but because fear stops you. It's like being in a dark room afraid to move because you don't know what you'll run into. And so fear becomes an invisible prison. Be honest. How many times have you avoided doing something just because? How many opportunities have you missed? The Stoics knew that we must not let fear control us. They taught us to face it, let it make decisions for us. As Seneca said, the only way out. And there's another phrase, the only way to overcome fear is to face it, to look it straight in the eye and push through. It's not about getting rid of it, but about moving forward despite it. How can you do that? When fear shows up, instead of avoiding it or letting it hold you back, act like a stone. Remember, it's just an emotion. Breathe, feel its presence, but take the step anyway. In the end, only by walking through that fear can you move toward what you truly desire.
This is the word for the day, and then we're going to get back into it. Come to me with a thankful heart so that you can enjoy my presence. This is the day that I have made. I want you to rejoice today, refusing to worry about tomorrow. Search for all that I have prepared for you, anticipating abundant blessings and accepting difficulties as they come. I can weave miracles into the most mundane day of your life if you focus on me. Come to me with all your needs, knowing that my glorious riches are more than adequate to supply. Stay in continual communication with me so that you can live above your circumstances even while you are in the midst of them. Present your request to me with thanksgiving, and my peace will surpass all comprehension and will guard your heart and mind. This was inspired by the book of Psalms, chapter 118, verse 24, Philippians chapter 4, verse 19, and verse 6 through 7.
Did you know that practicing mindfulness can help you? A study from Stanford, it's not about avoiding fear, but observing it, understanding it, and acting in spite of it. Mindfulness helps us recognize that fear is just a reaction, decide whether we let it paralyze us. Can you imagine the freedom of being able to say to fear, "Not today, you're not going to control me"? Imagine you've always dreamed of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. From below, you see the snow. You imagine the view from the top, that feeling of freedom and achievement. But when you think about doing it, fear sets in. You feel the path is steep, filled with rocks, and that it will be freezing cold. You wonder, will I be able to handle it? Am I fit enough? What if I don't make it halfway? What if I fail? Fear paralyzes you. That indecision going and moving. But then remember Seneca's Stoic teaching. The only way out is through. There is no other way. The only way to reach the summit is by facing the fear and walking through it. You take a deep breath and decide that, even though the fear is still there, you're going to take the first step, then another, and another. So, how do you leap and decide without fear in your daily life? First, name your fear. Sometimes simply identifying it makes it less powerful. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? It's the fear of failure, looking foolish, or not being good enough. By naming it, you acknowledge it, and that takes away some of the power it has over you. Like telling it, I know who you are and where you are, but you won't stop me. Second, use the small steps technique. Instead of tackling everything at once, toward what you want. For example, if you're afraid of public speaking, start by practicing in small groups or in front of friends. Little by little, the fear decreases, and you don't have to conquer it all at once. You just need to start. Third, just do it scared. Yes, exactly. The fear will still be there, but you're going to take the step anyway. What's the worst that could happen? When you realize that, in reality, big as they seem, you'll manage to keep going. That's the key. Even if you're afraid, keep moving forward. Be present in our lives, but only face it and take that first. Despite it, do we truly take control? Less.
Nick, create more video content, but don't have enough hours in the day, so you can create
Make gratitude your superpower. Have you ever really counted how many times you complain in a day? Be honest, have you kept track? If you did, you'd be surprised. We complain about little things all the time. Traffic, the heat, the cold. It's a constant stream of complaints, and if you wrote them all down, you'd realize just up in a single day. Can you imagine how different your life would be if, instead of complaining, you practiced gratitude? Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a powerful tool. Think of it as a superpower that transforms. Because grateful, we don't just improve our well-being, we completely change our perspective. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Seneca about how our way of valuing things is often distorted. We tend to think we lack, and we already have. That's where gratitude comes in. Being thankful for what we have allows us to see that we actually have much more than we think. It shifts to what really matters. Picture this. You wake up one morning, and the first thing you do is complain because you're cold, because traffic is unbearable, or because you're stressed, trapped in a spiral of negativity. Now, Mario, imagine waking up and, instead of complaining, you think, today is a new opportunity. I'm grateful for the roof over my head, for the food. Opportunity. You can't change the coffee, the traffic, or the emails. But there is one thing that will improve radically. Your attitude. I know, it's easier said than done. But one thing that gratitude is not just a exercise, it's a shift in perspective that can completely redefine your life. Let me share a story with you. Deepak Chopra, the famous doctor and spiritual guru, experienced something very similar. His life was a constant race, full of stress and chaos, until he discovered the power of gratitude. Each morning, before diving into his hectic schedule, he took a moment to be thankful. At first, it seemed like a small thing, but over time, that simple practice changed his life. What used to be pressure turned into peace. What used to be stress transformed into clarity. Chopra teaches us that you don't need to make huge changes, just small daily gratitude to regain control of your life. Make gratitude your superpower, wasting time on what doesn't matter. First, when you wake up, take a moment to breathe deeply and be aware of the new day beginning. Instead of looking at your phone, spend amazing what's in front of you. It could be the silence of the morning or the comfort of your bed. It's a small gesture, but starting with that awareness can completely change the pace of your day. Second, keep a gratitude journal. Spend 5 minutes at the end of the day writing down 3 moments you're grateful for. Ask yourself, who helped me today? What did I do well at work or home? What small detail made me smile? Writing it down makes you more aware of what you have. Third, choose someone in your life to thank directly. It doesn't have to be a long speech. It could be a simple, "I'm glad you're in my life." Thanking others strengthens your relationships and makes you more aware of how lucky you are to have the people around you. Remember, it's about making gratitude a part of your daily life, using it as a tool to live more calmly, more focused, and most importantly, happier. Because when you start being grateful, you start valuing. And when you value what you have, you stop wasting time on what. So, are you ready to make gratitude your superpower? Lesson: when you dare to act. Every great achievement starts the same way, as a simple thought in the mind decided not to leave it there. Look around you. Every building, every invention, every difference between a simple wish and something real was that someone dared to take the first step. And here comes the most important question. How many times have you let a dream stay in your head out of fear of trying? Because here's the key to all of this. Training your mind to break your limits and to fight fear. If you only think about what you want, if you imagine standing on the edge of a river, on the other side lies the life you've always wanted, your success, your best version. In front of you there are stepping stones in the water, made of doubts and fears. You don't need to swim, don't need a boat. You just take the first step and start crossing. But instead of moving, you stand there waiting to feel ready, waiting for someone to carry you across. Waiting for your dream life to magically come to you. Fear is just too much for you. It's only a metaphor, I know. But how sad. A tiny temporary keeping you from what you've always wanted. And
I dare you to let me build you a completely free.
No.
the stones aren't the real obstacle. The real obstacle is the importance you give them. No one who has achieved something great started with everything perfectly clear, without doubts but they dared to walk the path was only dreamed about it. That friend who wants to get in shape, but every week finds a new excuse not to start. Or that coworker who says they'll learn a new language because it would open so many doors, but always puts it off until next year. And what happens? Years go by, and they're still in the same place. Life keeps passing them by. Now imagine that, instead of waiting for the perfect moment, they had taken one small step. Where would they be today? The Stoics never to happen on their own. To them, action was what defined. Do you think Marcus Aurelius dreamed of being a great leader, but let fear paralyze him? Do you think he worked? Or do you think his greatness came because he made decisions, faced challenges, and turned every obstacle, debating what it means to be a good person and just be one? Translation: stop thinking about what would happen if you tried something and start trying, without fear. Imagine a bridge. You're on one side and on the other is the success you want so badly. But that won't build itself with thoughts alone. Every step you take, every action, every small advance is another brick in that construction. And here's something you need to know. Dream impossible. They die because people don't dare to build. Want the secret to making it happen? Simple. Start now. No one starts ready. No one starts perfect. Eventually learn. Stop thinking about step 100 and focus on step 1. Many never begin because they overthink everything. Just do something, no matter how small. And most importantly, do it before you feel ready. Waiting for the perfect moment is the best way to make sure it never happens. Your dreams can stay in your mind forever, or they can become part of your story. The only difference between the two.
He forgot one thing. The first step is the hardest step. And every other step becomes easier after that.
23. You don't need motivation, you need a system. I'm sure you felt that surge of motivation after watching an inspiration, reading a powerful quote, or imagining the life you want. In that moment, you feel unstoppable. You say, starting tomorrow, I'll wake up early, start training, stop wasting time, and give it my all. But then the next day comes and nothing happens. Or worse, you start strong, but a week later, everything falls apart. Why? Because relying on motivation is start a fire with paper. It burns fast, dies out in seconds. Motivation is just a spark, and it's fleeting. One bad day, one night, poor sleep, one minor distraction, and it's gone. Now tell me, wake up, check your phone, compare your posted their new luxury car, sigh, eat a processed breakfast, and leave the house feeling like something is missing, like something isn't right. If this is the script you follow every day, do you think you'll be able to get the most out of your mind? Out of your life? I don't think so. The Stoics knew they couldn't depend on their emotions to achieve excellence. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule an empire by waiting to feel motivated to do the right thing. He had a system. He woke up early, reflected on his purpose, wrote in his journal to train his mind, and faced the day with discipline. Epictetus said, "The harder the task, the greater the glory in overcoming it." The most skilled sailors are not made in calm water. Feel like doing what they needed to do. Just did it. They didn't let emotions. They lived by principles, not by moods, as he felt like it. He trained because his life depended on it. If you treat your goals as optional, you'll always find an excuse. But if you treat them as a personal duty, as a commitment to yourself, you'll achieve them no matter what. And this isn't just a Stoic idea. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, explains that success isn't about having goals. It's about building systems that make progress inevitable. But how do you build a system that leads you to everything you want to achieve? You may be wondering, let's first design your routines like clockwork even when you don't like it. Don't rely on willpower. Create habits that don't require decision-making. If you want to work out, eat more, leave your book on the table. Make it harder to fail than to succeed. Next, set rules, not intentions. Try to wake up early. I wake up at 6 a.m., no excuses. When you turn your desires into personal rules, everything changes. And finally, forget the lie called perfection. Aim for consistency, not perfection. One bad day doesn't ruin your progress, but quitting does. If you slip up one day, get back on track. The key to success isn't never failing. It's never giving up. Remember, not your emotions. You are not the motivation you feel one day and lose the next. You are what you repeatedly do. So stop waiting to feel like it. Build a system that drives you to success even when you're not motivated. Because results don't come to those who wait for the perfect moment. They come to those who act even when they don't feel like it. Lesson 24. Limits exist only in the mind. How many times have you told yourself, "I'm not good at this, I could never do that, I'm not meant for this"? Many times, right? Now tell me, have you ever truly tried? Or did you stop yourself just because you weren't good at it in the past? Or worse, because someone told you that you couldn't? Most Most people don't even test their own limits. They say, your brain is plastic. It can learn, adapt, and improve to levels imagine. The Stoics didn't have neuroscience study. They knew the mind trained to endure pain, overcome fear, and conquer any obstacle. Epic.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
Epictetus put it clearly with this quote: if someone hands you a closed book and tells you it's useless, would you believe it without opening it? Then why do you do the same with yourself? Have you seen the movie Limitless? If you have, you already know what I'm talking about. If not, let me summarize it quickly. The protagonist is a failed writer who one day discovers a miracle pill. When he takes it, his brain activates at 100% capacity. He remembers everything he has ever read, processes information at a superhuman speed, and his intelligence skyrockets. Overnight, he becomes unstoppable, smarter than anyone else. And what if I told you that you don't need a pill to unlock potential? Because even though the movie is fiction, its message is real. Most people go through life using only a fraction of their true mental power. Not because they lack capacity, but because that aren't real. They've imposed them on themselves, or their family did, or their environment, or the media. And this is where the Stoics come in. They didn't believe in magic or shortcuts, but they knew that the power of the mind is what defines our destiny. Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. It can be your greatest tool or your me. If you believe you can't do something, you're right, because you won't even try. But if you believe something is also right, not possible, because your mind will focus on making happen whatever you tell it to. That's why when you remove mental barrier changes. And no, I'm not talking about daydreaming. I'm talking about working, practicing, convincing yourself that you are capable through action. Challenge your limiting beliefs. Every time you think, I can't do this, question it. Can't you? Or have you simply never seriously tried? Are you bad at it? Or have you just not practiced enough? Cult every day. Step out of your routine. Surprise yourself by doing things you once thought you couldn't. If your mind gets used to discomfort, it becomes stronger. Surround yourself with things that elevate you. You only listen to people who complain and give up. Your mind will absorb that mentality. Change your environment, and you'll change the way you think. In real life, there's a magic pill that multiplies your brain's power. But there is something better. Train your mind to break any limit. So going to keep living with imaginary barriers? Or are you going to start discovering what you're truly capable of? The choice is yours. Be the protagonist of your own success story. Lesson number 25. No one has gone far without failing 1,000 times. Tell me, how many times have you given up because you thought you had already failed too much? Maybe you hate your job but stay there because the fear of the unknown paralyzes you. You tell yourself, what if I quit and can't find something better? Or maybe you have a dream, a project, something you really want to do, but you don't even try. It doesn't work. What if I make a mistake? What if I embarrass myself? Ah, the trap of fearing failure. What a common headache. But here's the truth no one tells you. Failure, it's the price you pay to go far. Knew this better than anyone. To them, failure wasn't a tragedy. It was a test. They didn't define themselves by what happened to them, but by how they responded to it. Look at the story of Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. He lost everything at wreck. His entire health, his stability, gone, swallowed by the sea. Think about it. If that happened to you today, how would you take it? You'd probably say that luck had turned its back on you. But Zeno saw it differently. Instead of complaining, he looked for a new path. He ended up in Athens, discovered philosophy, influential schools of thought in history. Years later, when he looked, he said these words, "By suffering shipwreck, I had a good journey." Wow, how powerful that is.
Alright. But I do gotta put this back